Hey guys, welcome to the Cora Elise show, where you get to laugh, learn and grow with me every single week. On this episode, I have Tyler Saunders joining me, also once known as the one-legged ninja. We speak about the challenges he has faced with having his disability and how he's overcome them and become the best version of himself. Being a part of the Basketball Wheelchair League and featuring in the Men's Health magazine. We also discuss what it is like being a personal trainer at the moment and just about fitness and health in general. I met Tyler Saunders at the AFS event, and trust me, this guy is incredible. He has achieved so much and he's such an inspiring guy to watch. Make sure you stick around right to the end to find out Tyler's advice on how to deal with negative comments. Don't forget, guys, to subscribe, like, and share with friends and family. It does help and it is massively appreciated. You can catch this on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple iTunes. Enjoy the show. Tyler Saunders, welcome to the Cora Elise show. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am a personal trainer and an online fitness coach. I've been a personal trainer for 5 years and delved into the online space about 2 years ago, kind of on and off, but with lockdown happening and the gyms closing, had to kind of develop that lane a lot more. But yeah, I work at a gym. I work with men and women, just helping them to become fitter and stronger individuals and not letting their kind of excuses or limitations get in the way of achieving what they want to achieve.
That's good. How are you finding online?
It's still growing. In lockdown, we had to do a lot of virtual sessions, which was kind of like a means to an end. It wasn't the ideal way of training because I'm sure you're like me, we like being with people and working with people face to face, the whole interaction.
Yeah, even this is weird for me right now. Like I'm just like, there's too many things around and I'm moving my hand. I'm like, gosh, yeah, but definitely in person is better for sure.
Much better, yeah. But it also showed that we need another offering online to which if something of this nature, hopefully God willing, touch wood, it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
But we can't be kind of restricted to just face-to-face training. Like we do have to diversify and have other offerings to reach other people and not be restricted within four walls. So it's been a learning curve. I'm still kind of refining bits and bobs. I've not got, a finished product yet, but being able to help people like I'm working with a guy in the States, I'm working with people all over the country. And it's good to be able to help people, manage aspects of their life, not just fitness, through remote means. And again, you love being with people, and especially from a PT sense, like the kind of poking and the prodding and the adjusting to get technique correct, stuff like that. But all in all, it has been an experience, and I want to definitely try and fine tune it.
Yeah. Like you said,
have my face-to-face base, my in-person client base as well.
Yeah, and like you said, you can reach more people online as well, so that's always an advantage, isn't it? Yeah. So I first actually found out about you from Ninja Warrior, actually, but then obviously I met you at IFS and discovered that you actually have done so much more. But let's just start with Ninja Warrior, even though you've accomplished so much. Tell us a little bit about that and the experience of going on to that and the prep for it.
Ninja, that was easily one of the scariest things I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, it was like pretty nerve-wracking. And back in the day, my Instagram handle used to be the one-legged ninja. It was, I did like calisthenics was a big part of my training and kind of just doing eye-opening and jaw-dropping stuff, just kind of just to capture attention. And someone had said, "Oh, you should go on Ninja Warrior." And I was like, yeah, like it would be cool, but I didn't really pursue it. And then somehow an email from them ended up in my inbox. I was like, okay, it must.
It wasn't
then, hey, Tyler, we'd like you to. It was just one of those like generic ones that they send out to everyone, and somehow ended up in the inbox. So I was like, okay, I'll fill it out. Did the whole testing process, got through that, got on the show, And it was, yeah, I traveled up to Manchester to do it. And it was, yeah, it was a pretty nerve-wracking experience because you don't know what you're facing. You're not sure what obstacles are coming up. And in my case, I knew even if I did get through everything, I wasn't going to be able to get up the wall at the end. The um the ninja wall. Yeah, I wasn't going to do it because I've tried it in little like trampolining parks and stuff, and
Okay.
it's physically not possible. So I was going up there, I was knowing I wasn't going to get through, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go anyway. Just give it
Yeah,
a shot
just for the challenge.
for
Yeah.
the challenge and just kind of test myself. And being backstage waiting for my name to get called, like literally my stomach was doing backflips. Like I physically felt sick. But then when my name got called, it's like, okay, well, this is it. So I've gone up, got to the top of the stairs, hopped down the stairs. I'm like, please don't buckle, please don't drop down the stairs. But I did it anyway. Got to a certain point, fell in. You saw it, like fell in on
Yeah.
those balls.
I was gutted. I was gutted for you, but I mean, you got so far, which some people don't even get past the first part of it.
That's the thing. And in my head, like I didn't get as far as I wanted to, but the support I got was insane. Like people at my gym, like everyone was like so proud here. But even just from what I got online and people, like it was really inspirational to see, you in your situation going up on a big stage like that and just giving it a go. And I'll do it again. Like as soon as they start opening up auditions again, I'm going to go back on because it feels like unfinished business.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I'll be watching
Yeah,
that.
I do want to go back on again. And it was almost like doing that put me on or it kind of not exposed me, but I was so out of my comfort zone there that things that now kind of seem a challenge in my head, I'm like, well, that's like a benchmark. I'm like, well, that was me in like in an auditorium full of people in front of cameras, and like I managed to give it my best shot there. So I'm like, this new challenge now, it's easy, but you kind of have something to compare it to, and it was a really good experience. And like I said, I would do it again in a heart. Definitely do it again.
Well, you've said it here now, so you're gonna have to go back on.
Well, no, put it out there into the universe.
Exactly. So you was called the one-legged ninja, and for people that maybe don't know about yourself and have never heard of you before, just explain a little bit about the disability you have. I don't really want to call it a disability. I'd say it's more of a super ability in your case because you don't let it stop you at all. Literally superhuman. But yeah, people that haven't heard of you, was you born with the one leg or was it something that come later in life?
Yeah, so I was born with my right leg missing from the hip.
Okay.
And there was kind of no real reason why. Like it wasn't hereditary, it wasn't a sickness or an illness, as it were. But yeah, just was born premature, one leg. So kind of had odds stacked against me from the start. And I've always had issues with my mobility, with walking. I used to wear a prosthetic leg when I was younger, and that was because I didn't really know what else. Like I didn't want to stand out as a kid. Kind of wore it more to fit in and just be normal, as it were. But in doing so, like it was just a really painful bit of apparatus. And whenever I'd get home, I would just like chuck it off and just hop around because that was me in my kind of natural state.
Yeah, people never speak about that side of it, that the fact that it's painful to wear a prosthetic leg as well.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where you're, like most people who have the limb and then lose it from an amputation, so it might be above the knee or below the knee. And even for them, there's degrees of discomfort where the kind of socket slots in. But for me, because it was from my hip, I actually had to sit inside a kind of bucket seat, and it would go around my waist, and I had this strap around my shoulder.
Yeah, that doesn't sound comfortable.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah.
That does not sound comfortable, yeah. But I suppose, like you said, as a child, you're just trying to fit in with everyone else, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just like a sense of belonging and not wanting to stand out. And as a kid, I didn't know any other children with a disability or people with a disability even. So it was like just me, and I didn't want to stand out, as it were. So a lot of the time it was just to fit in. But I had a relatively normal upbringing, normal childhood. Played a degree of sports, like not well, but I did always enjoy playing sports. And as I got older, just became more comfortable in myself. Just wore the leg less and less, and then it got to a point where it literally just sits in the attic collecting dust now. Like I don't need it for any particular purpose. When I started to train as a PT, when I qualified, I thought I might need it to, make me again appear normal. It's like the whole vanity thing, and just
Like
like
the whole being, you need to be shredded to be a PT. That's the same thing, isn't it?
yeah, it's bullshit. And I initially thought I'd have to get it back on, but I had less balance. I had more, challenges with my balance and stability with it on. So in joining the gym and, being there the first, few months, it almost became like a USP for me. Like, this guy has clearly physical limitations, but he doesn't let them stop him from, looking after himself, living an active life, training, all these kind of things. And this kind of like, the one-legged guy that can do this, that, and the other. And I've not looked back. Like I don't, there's times I wanted to wear the leg just to like throw people off. So I just walk in the gym with this leg on and everyone's like, but I can't.
Is that him?
Something's different about him, but I can't have it on for longer than 5 minutes. So that whole joke thing hasn't happened yet. But it's just in time I've learned to embrace it and kind of welcomed it, as it were. And a lot of opportunities have opened up, not because of the disability, but just my situation and my kind of perception to life and how I kind of tackle things.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see, because like you said, you still train, and you train hard. From what I see, you train hard, and you put people to shame with 2 legs. You train, you know what I mean? Like,
people say that, and I don't really know how to. I'm not trying to do that to put people to shame, but it's just like I like to work hard, and people look at me and see the effort I put in, and the rewards I hopefully reap from that. Then if they take inspiration from that, motivation, I'm glad, because I want to try and affect people positively. But people say, oh, do you do more on one than people can do on the 2? And I'm very deflective of compliments, because that's just, again, the old me, where I don't want to be noticed and I don't want to kind of stand out. But I'm learning to embrace it and just welcome it, and take the compliments and do my best with them.
Like I said, it's a super ability in a way. You've used it, in a way to thrive from it, rather than some people, I imagine, they would still be in that sort of childhood phase where they think badly of themselves, or what are people going to think of them. And like you said, you've just done that gradually. And, the day when you started going out without the prosthetic leg, was there any kind of thoughts like, is people looking at me or anything like that?
Really was, because this was like in the middle of my kind of uni life as well,
right,
where I made that transition. And you're kind of you're kind of worrying about how people will view you and how people will react towards you, and you always worry what people think. Like, as much as everyone's like, oh, don't care, just do you 100%, like there'll always be a degree of concern of what others think. But I guess as you get older, you start caring less. But that transition was quite, not tough, but it was just different. But equally, because I was more comfortable in that state, it wasn't so bad. Whereas, having to walk with the leg on and, worrying then, am I going to like buckle mid-step, or am I going to trip over something? Like, that was also an anxiety as well. So the fact that people might look at me differently, but I was actually comfortable in body, it kind of leveled it out a little bit. So eventually I just block everything out. I don't even notice people. They do look at me odd. If anything, kids, as kids are, they just kind of speak their mind, and you hear kids like, oh, mummy, where's his leg? And like, the mum either does one or two things. They're like, go and ask him, which is great, I welcome that. Or they're like, shut up, like, pull the kid along and like just drag him away. And I'm like, that's, that doesn't really help. But
no,
kids
it doesn't.
Kids say what they see. I don't mind that. But sometimes adults might do the odd stare or like turn their heads. I don't notice that, but people that are with me notice that more. Like, especially my partner, like, just pisses her off. Like, she wants to.
I can imagine. Holding it back.
Yeah, come on. But yeah, it's something I've got more and more used to as the years have gone on, and I don't think I'd be where I am now if I wasn't in this situation. And so I'm grateful, I'm thankful. I try and appreciate what's happened and what I've achieved thus far.
That's good. The one-legged ninja transition to just having your name as Tyler Saunders, has that got anything to do with what you've said of having that sort of stigma of just being the one-legged ninja? Or is it more because it was just a matter of changing the name?
It came to a point where I kind of started to question what I was doing, like kind of like with my reach. And initially it was just to gain traction and like just build a following and like doing workouts in the middle of like Leicester Square and all and doing like calisthenics, like flags off of traffic
Yeah.
lights, stuff like that. But after a while, I was like, okay, well, where can I really go with that? Because I don't want to be known as, you know, the one-legged guy that does cool stuff.
There's more to you.
Yeah, there's more to me, and I wanted to essentially use my platform to, you know, educate people, help people, um, yeah, just teach them stuff. And it was the name, the change of the handle. I think it was December 2018, I think. And I just made the transition. Yeah, way back, just way back when, back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, just it just became Tyler Saunders, and yeah, it's just been that ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. So you obviously you did the Ninja Warrior. That would have been around the time. What year was that now? When you did the Ninja Warrior?
That was I did the filming in 2018.
Okay.
And it aired in 2019.
Right.
April, May times 2019.
So you would have changed to Tyler Saunders on your socials when you went on to Ninja Warrior as well. Yeah. Okay. So you also did wheelchair basketball as well?
Yeah, still do. Yeah, still do.
You still do it?
Still do it, yeah, more recreationally. Whereas back since 2008, I was in the GB men's development team.
Wow.
Break it into the squad for London and Rio. And that's essentially what put me on the fitness path.
Right.
For basketball, you know, I trained a couple of times a week and thought to myself I was, you know, fit and I was doing my part in terms of activity, but wasn't really looking after my nutrition still. Wasn't in the gym then either. And this was off the back of like uni graduations. I still had some pretty poor lifestyle habits from uni, which transitioned into, you know, my late 20s, like being honest.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I got into the whole GB setup, it was a lot more serious. I had to kind of train a bit harder and be a bit more aware of nutrition and training. I went to Germany in 2012. Yeah, 2012. Hold on, get my dates. Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
So just rolled into one, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what year is it? But yeah, I did semi-professional basketball in Germany there, and that's what really kind of solidified my appreciation for living a more active and fit life. Just out there, I was, you know, training 4 times a week, had a high standard game each weekend, and just with the increase in activity, you know, I saw my body change, my fitness improve, my mindset changed. I was like, yeah, I can't go back to my office administration job after this, and that's what then made me do my course, and kind of the rest is history. But yeah, wheelchair basketball is always something that I hold, you know, close to my heart, and we've only just started training back last week, and our last training session was like February last year.
Right.
So from, you know, an inclusion standpoint, like it's been good to see all my kind of buddies again, which has been tough for them because, you know, for people with disabilities, there was nothing to do, and that's sport, it's a very gelling component for a lot of us. So we're just happy to have it back, and hopefully I can start shooting properly again and stop missing the basket every shot.
Yeah.
It's a long time since I've shot.
I can imagine as well, like you said, you know, in any sport, there's that team effort and, you know, being around all your buddies. But then when you're all sort of like wheelchair, like if it's all the disability, then there's that extra bond as well, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, the club, my club's called London Titans, and we have, you know, ages spanning from like 4 up to like 64, and like in different teams. And for some of us in the team, like that's our only real exposure to, you know, other people with disabilities. And there's, you know, strong friendships are forged. It's like a big family. So for me, you know, with sport being taken away in lockdown, I had, you know, my family, got friends I could reach out to, still was training at my house and out in the parks and going in my wheelchair and pushing. But for some, like the only like the only exposure to fitness was basketball. The only exposure to their peer groups was, basketball. And when we didn't have that interaction, a lot of people struggled. But thankfully now we're, slowly returning to play.
Yeah.
And people are, finding it good to be back in the team again.
What position are you playing?
I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. Almost.
Okay.
Just in wheelchair basketball, you get different classifications based on your disability.
Right.
And kind of like slap bang in the middle. Whereas if I was on either end of the spectrum, I'd be at either end of the scale. I'd have a more specific role. But I'm kind of in the middle, so I've got to either be a ball handler or a guard or the shooting guard. So I've got to be good at a few
That's
things.
harder because you've got to literally be good at everything.
Yeah, I can't just like master one thing and just be like good at this one thing and be relied on for this one thing. I've got to, depending on the lineup as well that the coach puts out, I've got to fit into a different role. But it makes it interesting, and you just got to be on the ball all the time. So,
Hey, did you mean to do that?
No, I did.
Yeah, well, you better get practicing then if you've got to be on form for everything.
At one point in lockdown, I sat in the chair and I didn't fit properly. I was like, shit.
Oh dear. You've been building the glutes.
Yeah, the glutes and the quad just got big. Yeah, so yeah, the league's starting up again soon, so we got that to look forward to.
That's good. You've achieved so many things. Literally, I have to like go through this list here of so many things that you've been through.
You have to remind me, because sometimes when people are like, oh, what have you achieved? Like, if I fill out a form, I'm literally here just like scratching my head like,
yeah, oh yeah, I did that, yeah.
But there's things that I probably don't class as an achievement, or I might have like missed or just forgotten about, and you'll give me a good reminder. So yeah, it'd be good to hear what you've managed to.
Some of these might not even be true. I might be like, you did this, yeah? You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't do that. You got someone else.
Yeah.
But where do you find, like, I mean, I know motivation is very temporary mindset anyway, but where do you kind of find that inspiration to sort of push yourself to do all these challenges?
I think it's just in the search for, I don't know, cheesy as it sounds, like just kind of bettering myself and just seeing what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, I've entered like a couple of functional fitness competitions that from the outset, again, self-doubt. It's like, I can't do that. That looks real hard. Like all the people there are the fittest of the fit, and they're the fittest in the country, and everyone's got like sick rigs and they can do all this kind of stuff. And then I think one day I was just like, no, I'm just going to enter it and just see what happens. And it was a team one, so it wasn't like me by myself. And that was one of the hardest things I've done. And then now I've done that, I'm like, okay, I can do these now. What's the next thing? I did a Spartan race a couple of years ago. That was ridiculously hard.
That was mental.
It was, just because I didn't know it was half a marathon. I didn't know it was a half marathon in mud and with obstacles. And then I started to get cramps in my calf. I had the wrong shoe on. My crutches, one of the rubber bits on the end, it disappeared in the mud. So I was just, every step I was taking, the crutches
literally turned into a Spartan race then.
Literally, yeah. So that was tough at the time, but then got through that. And it's literally now I'm like, what can I do to, challenge myself, see what I'm made of? And a lot of it is kind of building mental resilience as well.
Yeah.
Because lockdown definitely tested everyone's mental resilience. And now coming out the other end, it's like, right, let's just, set goals for the year. Let's set challenges for the year. Let's have things to work towards. I want to do a skydive this year, something that's literally...
Nice. I might join you on that one. I want to do one as well.
Yeah, all right. Let's do
it. I know I've said it as well now.
There we go. That's something I want to do. And I've said in this quarter, so by the end of June, I want to have done that. So I'll be messaging you. We'll do that.
We'll do it. Let's do it.
Isn't it?
I might let you go first, though. Yeah. Actually, that's worse, isn't it? If you watch someone,
you'd be like,
yeah, I'll be like, drop me back. No, I would like to do that as well. We'll sort something out. But yeah, like with challenges and I think obviously we're doing a sport yourself. That's where the competitiveness probably comes in as well. When you do a sport, you're naturally competitive. But I think when you are sort of in that competitive mindset.
I'm actually not naturally competitive.
No?
No, it's not something I was...
With yourself, though?
Yes, yeah, no. And that's something I've learned to kind of tap into and appreciate since being in fitness.
Right.
Whereas before, like a lot of my life, I was kind of just plodding along and just coasting. And that's also one thing I'll try and say to people is I wasn't born a fit, active individual. I haven't been training from when I was younger. I didn't grow up in team sports. So everything I've achieved, I'm actually quite late in the whole game, but it's never too late to make that change. And it's never too late to make an improvement to your, overall health, your dietary habits, your lifestyle habits. And, I've made those changes and I'm in a better place for them now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the whole kind of competitive edge. I've had to nurture that since playing basketball and since being in the fitness industry.
Yeah, you've had to push yourself that little bit more and say, like, to do it, like you said, with the fitness events, you've had to just kind of give yourself a pep talk to do it.
Yeah. And there's something I'm, learning to do more of now, and especially in lockdown with, as the way things were, and I'm injuring my ankle as well last year. I don't know if you saw that or was around.
I missed that one.
That's not an achievement, right? How I did it was how I did that was, I was on the trampoline trying to master something that had always frightened me, and I was giving it a go. Landed wrong and done my ankle in different places, but that then forced me to push myself to get in my wheelchair and go for 5K pushes regular multiple times a week. Because in my head, that's like one of the hardest things to do is going for a long distance run.
Yeah.
But again, just the resilience, the kind of talking to myself, like, if you don't do this, things are going to go in a worse direction. Just get in your chair, push. Some days it rained, some days it was, cold, it was dark, couldn't be bothered, didn't want to do it, just literally couldn't be asked. And I had to force myself to get in the chair. My activity rings on my Apple Watch was still not closed. I'm like, T, get in the chair, do it. Once you're out there and you're doing it, it's all right. It's usually, series jumping in, jumps in when I don't need her. But yeah, it was just literally the most pep talks and the most kind of the internal dialogue, just like, come on, just do it, just get it done.
Yeah.
And then when you do it afterwards, like, you feel good for doing it. It's just the actual getting up and doing it. And in that period, I definitely have improved my mental resilience and toughness.
Yeah.
But a lot of it has to come from within. Like, no one else can do it for you.
I think that plays with everything as well, not just fitness, like everything in life, even like you said, going for a walk or going for a run. It's that mental sort of giving yourself that little pep talk and say, just do it, and then think how good you're going to feel after.
Yeah. I mean, the mind will come up with a ton of reasons why you shouldn't do it and all the excuses, because that's just how we're wired. And me, myself, like, people have kind of given me the mantra of, like, no excuses. I'd make all the excuses if I gave myself.
We all do.
Yeah. And there have been days I've bailed out things and, given myself reasons to not do stuff, but it's literally just the action. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
And then when you got it done, then you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. Or
and even if it is bad, you've done it, and you can say you've done it, and then try again. Like you said, obviously you've done your ankle now. Is it still bad?
It's getting better now. I'm at like 90% recovery. Still a bit stiff in parts, but yeah, I'm back able to train again, and I can hop, which was like a bare stand, like a minimum standard I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because that's my way of getting around, and if I couldn't hop, then I'm like, shit, I'm in trouble. So I'm back to 90%, which is good. I'm giving God thanks for that, because life is back to some level of normality.
Definitely, yeah. Do you find you get many injuries, with having to hop around rather than, like with training in general?
No, funnily enough, again, just because I've been this way from birth, like, my body has just kind of adapted to the way I move around. Like, if somebody is new, like a new amputee, for example, they're used to obviously walking with proper gait and all the rest. As soon as they have to hop, like, there's a lot of like shock being transferred through the joints. Whereas for me, because I was hopping from day one, my muscles, my joints, everything's kind of built to withstand it.
You've conditioned it more.
Essentially, yeah. The only injury that I tend to have ongoing is like my lower right back, just because I haven't got much muscular development there from the limb not being there.
Okay.
Like there's like half a pelvis, so there's probably some incomplete musculature around there.
Did
And
they
my
give
lower
you
back.
did they give you any physio for that? Or
No, just because again it was from birth, there wasn't
okay.
really anything to kind of improve, as it were. But in training, obviously in doing like deadlifts and Zercher squats and all the rest of it, like that lower back has had to take a bit of work, a bit of stress. So yeah, I've
Yeah.
always got little niggles in the back, but again, it's one of those things. I'm like, well, I'm not just gonna sit and not work through
Yeah.
it or work around it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's a little niggling thing all the time, but I'll just either push for it or just do a lot of stretching, a lot of recovery work, because that's also very important. And our
Mm.
clients don't always listen to us when we say stretch and
No.
recover.
I hope they're all listening now.
Yes, do it.
Stretch. Yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? I think if you wasn't doing anything and you wasn't training, you'd probably be worse because you'd be tighter in
Yeah,
your joints. So the fact that you've got a little niggle in your back now and again is probably minor compared to if you was training. If you wasn't
yeah.
training, sorry.
It's just part of the package. And through the years of wheelchair basketball, I've got like kind of tight shoulders. So again, the stretching, the mobility stuff is key in my longevity in the sport and or any swing in fitness and in my sport and just being active in general.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get to, you know, whatever, like 50 or whatever, and like I'm suddenly having to rely on walking aids and mobility aids because I'm so stiff and tight. And
Mm.
that's one of my big reasons for training is just to have a better quality of life now and when I'm older. Because
Yeah.
things are going to start getting weaker, muscular atrophy, you're going to start shrinking, joints are going to get a little bit more weaker. But in doing the training now, I'm setting myself up to be more independent still when I'm older.
Mm.
And plus,
Mm.
I've got the two girls, so I need to be on form all the time. They're
Yeah.
jumping on my back when I'm not expecting it, and if you're not ready for that impact, you're putting your back out and putting your hip out. So that's my big reason for training is just to be ready for life and just for any.
Yeah.
It's
The
not.
best goal to have. It's not all about the aesthetics at all. Like, and how old are you now?
I am 38.
38. So you're still young. You're still
Still, yeah,
young.
I had to think then. I was like,
Still
yeah,
young, but slightly getting memory loss because you forget your
yeah, yeah.
age.
Oh, even
Congratulations on men's health.
thank you very much.
How was that? Did you know anything about that coming up to it, or?
Yeah, so that was had the interview in lockdown. The journalist reached out to me because she'd heard of me in a prior kind of poll they done where they were looking for like inspiring class instructors.
Yeah.
And the classes I used to do at the gym were always busy, and somebody put me forward for that, but I didn't make it into the editorial for that, or they like kind of scrapped that idea. But she heard my name again for this particular piece, and we had a good chat in lockdown, and yeah, had the photo shoot and stuff, and then it came out. But again, just seeing it in print and then being mentioned along the other guys who were all awesome in their own right, it was just like, it was surreal. And then again, the support that comes in,
Mm.
I can't keep up. I'm just like trying to respond to everyone's message and say thank you.
Yeah.
But again, it was nice to be recognized, but you don't do things for recognition. It's just when somebody does pick up on the things you are doing,
Yeah.
it's nice. And again, just being thankful and appreciative for being recognized and being mentioned in arguably the biggest men's
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
world.
huge. It's
Yeah,
huge. Give yourself a pat on the back. I think. I mean, do you struggle from a little bit of imposter syndrome?
yeah, I do. I'll be honest.
It sounds that way. Like it's a massive magazine, and you're just so humbled, which is a good thing. You know. But like you said before, I think it's pushing yourself to do stuff, and then almost like congratulating yourself and giving yourself a pat on the back for doing it as well.
Yeah, and it wasn't the kind of the top 10 PTs with like the best body or the richest PT. It wasn't. It was more. Each one of us had a different kind of message and how we were either promoting inclusivity or positivity or something with a good message. And yeah, like to be mentioned and to be featured was massive
Mm.
award. And yeah, I loved it. It was amazing.
That is good. It's good. NFG National Fitness Games.
NFG,
Do you
yes.
want to explain that? I don't know much about that one. What's that one then?
So that is the functional fitness event that I entered.
Right.
And
Is that
as
the group training? The
that's a
group.
group, yeah.
Okay.
But now they do individual competitions, they do pairs, they've branched out into kind of numerous groups now, just so that people don't feel it's just elite. Like they're open to, you know, just the general public. They got different categories for different levels of fitness, but everything in there is just, you know, just pure hard work, and it covers all of the aspects of fitness. There's like a strength component, endurance component, a force component, but there's no like technical CrossFit lifts or anything like that
Okay.
people can't do. So entering that again was pitted up against, you know, some of the fittest people in the country. Had a great time just because I had a group to do it with. And it was me and like some fellow Maxi Muscle ambassadors. So we, you know, like we all knew each other. I had a good.
Was that the one with Paul Lima? Did Paul Lima join you on that one, or is that a different
No, he was part of the
part
staff.
of the thing?
So yeah,
Okay.
he's a hype man. He's the mic man. He was, you know, there
He's
filming.
hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny, man. He's funny. So yeah, that was the first one, which then kind of opened me to the world of functional fitness events, and it's the kind of training I do most times anyway. And I've now entered for the one in May on the
Okay.
23rd, the night games in Wembley, and this is just literally a benchmark for me to see where I'm at post injury. I'm not
Mm.
doing it to try and like place or, you know, come top, whatever. It's just, can I do it? Can I get through it? There's probably going to be a lot of self-talk and pep talks in my head,
Yeah.
and just because of the ankle, but I just want to see what I'm capable of doing. And it's literally like 5 minutes from my house. So it'd be stupid if I don't.
You've got no excuses at all, have you?
Exactly. So yeah, that is something I'm actually going to be involved in from a programming standpoint as well, because we want to actually do an inclusive and adaptive variation of it as well, to get athletes with disabilities involved too.
Okay.
So I'm you know, studying, I'm developing, I'm gonna then be on board with the kind of organization to do an adaptive athlete.
That's good.
So there's
What's
there's some scope in that to, you know, reach more people and be more inclusive. So something I'm looking forward to this year.
That's good. Really good. What's the workout for that then? Have you set, or is it the same as kind of thing as what you did in NFG
You
on the
don't
last
know.
one?
It's one of these, again, one of these like surprise, like 24 hours before they release it. And the
Right.
whole kind of mantra is, you know, functional fitness is you should be able to do anything and be prepared for anything. And
Okay.
your kind of general preparation for life, it's all kind of movements that we do, you know, push, pull, squat, hinge, all those kind of things. So in being a function athlete, you should be able to run this distance or lift this or push that or pull this. So we don't know what the workout is until 24 hours before.
Okay.
But I'm just waiting to see what it is. And there'll be some challenging stuff in there. I've probably got to carry some heavy things from point A to point B,
Yeah.
all those kind of things. 3 rep maxes of, you know, deadlift, squat, shoulder press. Like that's what they've done before, just drawing on old events.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be challenging, should be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
It'll be good. It'll be good to watch. The Ninja Warrior that you said about the wall wasn't something yet. Was it with the wall that you said you wasn't able to do?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
find there's any other exercises that you really struggle with, especially like if you find out 24 hours before the workout? Is there anything in particular that you're going to be like, that's going to be a struggle?
I'm trying to think. Like there's
Can
always
do everything.
just the scale. There's always like, yeah, pretty much the whole day is gonna be like, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna
Okay.
but there is, like, for myself, there is ways of like kind of adapting things and scaling things. And usually I don't want to do anything different. I want to do what everyone else does. But there might be a point where I'm like, nah, I'm gonna have to drop the weight of that. Or I might have to use my stick for a bit of added stability on something else.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the gym, I'm trying to think of things that I just generally don't do, but there isn't much. Like
Just do everything.
I'll do everything.
Do it
I'll
all.
give it a crack at least. I'll give it a go. But
Yeah. Could imagine, like you said, if they do like farmers carries or something like that from one point to the other, that would be quite a struggle as hopping, wouldn't it?
yeah. So I probably just have to reduce the weight on that and just drag it along. I mean, one of the previous ones we've had to like drag kind of objects along fields and sandbags like weighing 50 kg, which is like nearly half my weight. And it was like it took me ages to do, but you just get it done. Doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm not looking around at others thinking, oh, I'm last. I'm just like, just get to the line, no matter how long it takes. And there's footage of me literally struggling, like literally struggling, but
Yeah.
get it done, and like it's happy days kind of thing. So I'm just,
Mm.
because I've been at that stage and I've pushed myself that much, I know what that feels like, and I made it through. So now whatever else comes, I'm like, all right, let's give it a go.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Is there anything that you want to discuss that I haven't asked you about yet?
Not really. No.
No.
Sometimes when on pods, people are like, "What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, I don't know.
Life.
I don't know. Can I ask you questions, or is it stuff that?
I mean, obviously, you've spoke about living with, your disability and the training you've done, things like that. Is there anything sort of we've not spoke about, or maybe we spoke about, you want to speak about more?
No, not really. I mean, when it comes to doing these pods, like I used to be, again, scared of doing them. Like I'll be nervous, but a lot of the time it's just talking about my story, and I don't
Yeah, it's just a
talk
general
about.
chat.
Yeah, it's just general chat again. Like you were the first friendly face I met at IFS, so me and you, we get on already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You to ask me to come on, I'm like, of course, yeah, of course I do that, because even going to IFS by myself, I was like, oh, here we are in a new environment, don't know anyone apart from like a select few.
I was the same. You just got to push yourself to sort of do them things, haven't you? Push yourself out your comfort zone. And I think you said when I met you at IFS, she was like, "I'm not even a coach here. Why is I'm not a
Yeah,
coach." Yeah.
you like, really, how? Like, I don't think that people follow me. It's weird, but I've never actually met somebody who recognized me until I met. And now since you, like,
Okay.
it happens every now and then. So it kind of just shows how small the world is. But yeah, it's just kind of getting out your comfort zone and pushing yourselves. And this is the kind of things we'll tell our clients like during training. It's
Mm.
stop being comfortable. Like, comfort isn't where the results are made, or the glory isn't in just kind of staying in your little bubble where everything's nice and you know what to expect. Like in your workouts, you got to step out, you got to
Yeah.
push yourself harder. When it comes to, I don't know, like lifestyle changes, you've got to do things that aren't comfortable. And I was just training with someone now, and we were on the ski urge. I don't know if you ever used the
Yeah.
ski urge. Like, it's horrible. Like, hate it. Everyone hates it. But I was saying, like, being fit is hard. It's an old fitness cliche, but being fit is hard. Being unfit is hard. You got to choose.
Choose your path. Yeah.
Yeah, choose which hard you want. You struggle in the workout, and in turn, build a stronger mind, build a better body, better health, all those things. Or you can be unhealthy and then suffer with the poor health, the negative health effects, feeling shit, being unhappy with your body. Like, pick which one. But when we're here working now, we're gonna put some work in. It's not a case of let's stop when it burns. Like, nah, let's push through a bit more.
Yeah. Don't stop when it burns, guys.
Nah,
Like, come on.
like, don't quit when the burn hits. That's something I used to say in
Yeah.
my class. And again, all the fitness mantras and all of those things. But it's true. Like, you can't stop when things get tough. You have to
With
push
everything.
more. Yeah.
And I suppose a lot of people that I speak to, you probably find the same thing as well. When people are into fitness and they are sort of making it as a lifestyle, and they push past the burn and all that kind of stuff, it carries on through life with everything. And like you said, that's probably helped you come out of your comfort zone as well from doing fitness.
Yeah. The kind of struggles that we go through in the gym and in the workouts and kind of pushing through those last couple of reps, it transfers into day-to-day life and like the things you're faced with in your life. And you don't just stop, at rep 8 when the tingle starts to creep in. Like, you're going to push for 10, for 12, maybe even 15. And that's where like you find out kind of who you are and what you're made of in that stage where you're like, you can't wait to finish the set, or you want to just quit there and then, but you push that one extra. And then, it transfers into daily life where there are tons of other battles you've got to get through.
Yeah.
But you build that resilience in the gym. And I think people only think we go to the gym to make ourselves look better, which is part of it, but it's definitely not the kind of be all and end all. I think people realize that massively with the gym being taken away from us.
I think you probably noticed the same thing maybe in your gym as well, but a lot of people that are training at the moment, when you speak to them, they're there for the mental health more now after lockdown.
Yes. Yeah.
More than fitness.
Such a not a buzzword, but it's just people aren't afraid to say it now.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And people are saying that kind of first and foremost now, rather than, I'm in here to lose weight and I'm in here to do this and that. It's literally like, I'm here for my own sanity and like my mental health. I miss this place so much. Whereas before lockdown, people come out, I've got to train again. I've got to do a workout now. But now people are like actually happy to come in, which is great. I mean, it's a shame we had to go through the last year in order to kind of realize what the gym means to so many of us. But it is what it is. We're still here. We're still fighting. So
that's it.
Let's look to improve our health by, going to the gym, embracing the whole healthy lifestyle. Because I think that's one thing that we didn't really not we as in like trainers in the gym, but I think like the government and stuff didn't capitalize on like improving our health in order to fight what hit us in the last year.
Yeah, don't get me started on that one.
I see your stance. You're like, listen.
Don't you get me started on that one. It's just that I'm just going to say one thing about that. McDonald's was open all the way through for drive-through. You know what I mean? And the gym wasn't, which just shows how much the government prioritized the health.
How is McDonald's drive-through essential? And the whole eat out to, I mean, yes, saving the restaurant business is cool, but you're getting half price food for like however long, takeout. So, and whenever they mentioned things opening, it's always pubs and restaurants. I'm like, fuck the pub, I don't care.
How can they put the same category as gyms are opening, but also pubs and restaurants are opening at the same time? Like, they're just not on the same level. But yeah, that's another podcast. What we'll do then is, that's why I asked if there's anything else you wanted to discuss that we haven't already, but I think, we've pretty much touched on everything. There is one thing actually, Olympic torch. You did the Olympic torch.
Yes.
See, I'm telling you about
what have you achieved? Like, oh yeah, that.
Tell us a bit about that.
That was I was part of, like, Lloyd's TSB had a program for developing athletes, and they were also one of the partners of the torch relay. So in the build up to 2012, like, I'd already been told I hadn't made the squad, which was, devastating. But having the opportunity to do the torch relay was kind of it didn't make up for it, like, by any means, but it was still a monumental event to be a part of. Mm-hmm. And I did my little stretch through Ealing, which is in West London, which is my hometown. So it was good to, like, had my family turn up and friends, and it was like, just everyone was just so happy and proud. I'd never seen my mum and dad smile so much in my life. So it was a really touching moment. And then we got to keep the torch as well, but I had to pay like 200 quid for it, which was mad. Because initially they gave the torches out in the first leg of the event, and then people were selling them on eBay for like $5,000. So anyone after, they were like, well, if you want to do that, go for it, but you got to pay us $250. So I've still got the torch, and I found it the other day, showed the girls, they didn't have a clue what it was. They just really astounded that it was gold, and so it was like, oh yeah.
So you don't carry it around the gym with you then, like, you don't know.
Listen to me. I'll smack you over the head if you don't know.
There you go.
That's the floor in the burpee.
Yeah, don't come up or else I'll hit you on the head with it.
But yeah, that was again a highlight of that time, and yeah, something I'd look fondly
When
at.
did you, when did you do that? What
That
year was
was
that?
so the Olympics
Really
was
testing your memory today, Anna.
yeah, no, it's 2012. It was probably like the first week of August, July, August, around then. So
Okay.
it
So
was,
you've had a good, say, what, 10 years of achievements, really, isn't it? Like there's been a lot happening over the last few years.
in a sense, yeah, yeah.
That's good. What's next?
What is next? Good question.
Well, you're doing the fitness event. You're doing the fitness
Yeah, doing a
event.
fitness event. I'm off to the Peak District, actually the Friday, but so the NFG event's on the Sunday on 23rd. I'm doing like a kind of hike with I'm on a business development course, like mindset course. So a bunch of the lads are all meeting up to do this on the Friday. So I'm doing that. I've signed up for a battle cancer event,
Okay.
like another fictional functional fitness event. Definitely not fictional event.
No, you've had a long day. It's okay.
Yeah,
You need
this
one of these grenade energy drinks.
what was that?
Grenade energy.
I've not had one.
They're nice. They're nice.
That
Sorry,
looks
carry on.
tropical.
It
Tropical.
is like me.
Yeah, so doing that in I think September, October times. Booking the skydive. So yeah,
Of
it's
course.
just at the minute events just to work towards. Actually, somebody reached out to me recently and said they'd like to do a photo shoot, so I'm going to do that in end of or middle of May. So once this NFG event's done, then I've got to get on the whole kind of like the prep life thing, which is not something I've really been that interested in before. Kind of people have said, oh, you should, have you ever thought about doing a, going on stage? Like, nah, I love food too much. Like takeaways too much. I don't think I'd be that disciplined. Like, I don't really care that much.
Do you know what though? I think you would. I think you'd surprise yourself because I think, like you said, once you put your mind to something, you kind of you if you could do it if you wanted to, but I suppose it's if you're not interested in it, then it's different.
Yeah, just kind of like the lure of that doesn't appeal to me as much as I guess like slogging through a hard fitness event. Just because obviously it's great to look lean and stuff, but what you have to give up and sacrifice and the kind of energy level. Have you ever competed before?
I haven't, no.
But I'm more of the case, I'm kind of like, let's improve your overall health and well-being. And if you get leaner in the process, then happy days, but don't kind of make that your focus. And there are, people with disabilities taking part in competitions, hats off to them. Everyone's achieving great things, but I haven't really had that desire to actually go through the whole prep life and then go on stage and some and get judged based on my abdominal symmetry. Like, there are ways, people do it for different reasons, and I'm not knocking their passion and their love for doing that. Like, it's all well, but there are lots of kind of negative things associated with the whole kind of industry from that standpoint. And this kind of photo shoot came off the back of me putting out a few weeks back that I wanted to just go through my own little kind of 8-week trim up, as it were. It wasn't a transformation. It was just, hey guys, I'm normal, just like you, let myself go a little bit fluffy around the edges. So here's what I'm going to do for the next 8 weeks just to see what happens.
Yeah.
The photographer reached out and he's actually quite well known in the fitness circuit. So for me, I was like, appreciate that. Like, like it was just something to be grateful for. So once the NFG's done, I'm going to start, doing meal prep even more than I am now.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice just to get some photos taken and just tick that off as something.
Yeah. I think photo shoot photo shoot prep is a lot more like less strict than like your typical prep for stage. It's a bit more of a nicer process because I have done a bit of a photo shoot prep before, and even that can be tough. With the food restrictions and different things like that, and calorie deficit and all that. But it's a challenge for you, and I think again you'll do well with it, and it's just seize every opportunity you get, isn't it?
That's it. Just saying yes to a lot of things and just taking the opportunities that come. I've got a few things just coming up this year, and I'm sure there'll be a few more, and I'm just enjoying the ride. I'm just
enjoy the process of it all.
that is it. There's no end goal. It's just the process that I'm enjoying. So
and I think it's great that you're doing the adaptions for disabilities for the fitness event as well. So I think that'll be really good. And obviously it's something that's close to your heart.
yeah,
So
I got into the industry initially to kind of inspire and motivate other disabled people to live active lives, but in where I've been placed and kind of just my general reach, I've not had to do that. It's been everyone. But now I've got this kind of thing in the horizon. It's now like, okay, let me now put my efforts into, upskilling myself. And I'm doing a course at the minute with adaptive athletes, and I can then hopefully put on a good event, and
for sure,
it grows and grows and grows. And, we get to include disabled athlete or adaptive athletes with, non-disabled athletes, and everyone can, work hard together and leave it all on the floor regardless of ability or limitation. So
yeah, that'll be so inspiring for them as well, like, because you're going to get people from all different backgrounds, and like you said, with the basketball team, when you've got that sort of community of everyone's sharing a similar struggle, it's such a nice bond to have. So I think it'll be great. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. We'll do the final four then. So final four. Everyone gets ready when I say this, like, oh, okay, let's go. So it's just 4 questions. You can answer with a long or short answer, whatever you feel fit to do. Okay?
Yep.
What's the one?
Now I'm nervous.
You'll be fine. It's fine. It's just conversation. What's the one piece of advice you would tell your younger self?
I would say do something you enjoy, like follow a passion rather than, I guess, expectations from others.
Okay. Yeah. Because you said, did you go into, he wasn't in fitness at the start, was you? He was in a different job?
I was in fitness. Went to uni and studied like business sciences and IT and stuff. And it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it was just a lucrative industry at the time. Kind of made sense. But in hindsight, would have loved to have done sports science, would have.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just now where I'm at now, like, you kind of look back and think, well, if only or what if, but you can't live that way. So
no.
if I can talk to my younger self, like just do what you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, you wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't do all them things beforehand.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Everything's for a reason.
Favorite book or resource that has helped you?
Ooh. Favorite book or resource?
Do you read many books or audiobooks? Could be audio as well.
Yeah, I am now, and my attention span for reading has been very bad over the years, and it's only in the last year that I've got on the audiobook train now. So I've been, listening to podcasts for
so much easier, isn't it?
So much easier. Like just when you're in the car traveling to work, like my drive from home to work is like just, before I was listening to like One Extra and radio stations and just the music playing, I'm like, I can't really get with this anymore. So I got on the podcast wave, and I've, learned so much. It's taken me on so many different directions, found so many more inspiring people. But in terms of, books, I'd say, that's a hard one.
It can be an audiobook if you've listened to an audiobook recently that sort of resonated with you.
At the minute, I'm listening to The Chimp Paradox.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I again started to read that in like 2014 on a recommendation, but my mind wasn't ready to start processing all that. I kind of read the first couple of chapters and didn't read it for one day. Then one day became 2, then just never read the book again. And again, in like the whole personal development space, I keep hearing like Chimp Paradox. And so I've started listening to that. That's good. I listened to Unleash the Power Within, Tony Robbins.
Okay.
That was last month's book, audio book. So there's been a few. But everything now is kind of personal development. in terms of fitness and stuff, there's plenty of books that I've read, but one weird one, examine.com is a very good resource.
Okay.
For kind of supplementary advice and kind of getting unbiased opinions on certain supplements. So when client says, "Oh, I've heard about your himbine being a fat burner or green tea extracts," like I'll go and research it on this site, which is science-based and scientifically backed, and I'll always say, yeah, there's some truth to that, and then there's these disadvantages, this study, that study. So yeah, examine.com, one that's just popped to my head.
That's interesting. Examine.com.
Examine.com.
Okay.
Which most people who are kind of the evidence-based community will refer to this website for pretty much everything. Like, they've got tons of articles on there and blogs, and there's like detailed studies into whatever supplement or ingredient you're looking for. So little plug.
Yeah, little plug.
There's no commission. I'm nothing to do with me.
After today, you never know.
they might come knocking. Like, here's lifetime membership.
Yeah. How do you deal with any negative comments on social media or in person?
Also a good question. Before, I'd probably like take it to heart and like go into a little bit of a shell, but now it's a case of like that person, one, it might be constructive, they might actually have a point, but a lot of the time, kind of when somebody's being negative or being harsh, they're kind of doing it to make themselves feel better, or they're doing it to, I don't know, for their own good kind of thing. So they're going through whatever they're going through, they've perceived whatever content I put out or whatever as so some negativity in it. They're just doing what's best for them, and I can't then make it affect my day. So it's almost just kind of like Neo from Matrix, just like deflecting, just kind of letting them go.
That's quite a good analogy, actually.
Just like getting rid of, just dodging all these things. And again, like, I would have taken it to heart. So like, no one really likes to be challenged, like deep down, but depending on the way you view it, the challenge could be for your own growth, or you can just kind of retreat into your shell. Chimp paradox, again, kind of like that could, your emotional side can react.
The ego as well, isn't it?
Exactly, the ego, you feel like you're being challenged, you're under threat. Or you can, okay, there might be some, what can I learn from the negative comment, or depending on how negative it is. But I actually don't get that much.
That's good.
On socials especially, but yeah, like in day-to-day life, again, it's just like, what can I learn from this situation? What does it mean? Like, what can I do going forward? So
have you channeled your inner chimp after reading the Chimp Paradox then?
I'm not even through it yet. I'm still on.
Okay, I won't say anything else then.
How to manage your chimp. Yeah, I've got like 8 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay, you've got quite a bit to go then, yeah.
So yeah. I'll get through it quicker listening than actually reading it.
Yeah. See, I found I really struggle with reading as well, more with the audio book or podcast listener. But I've found that I've got into a daily habit now of reading 10 pages every day.
Okay.
So sometimes I read more, sometimes I just read 10, but 10 pages every day. Daily habits, isn't it?
That's good. And they just compound. It just becomes a...
Yeah.
What annoys me about audiobooks, still not annoys me, but when you've got to do an exercise or a practice, that's then when I think, reading the book's going to be better.
Yeah.
You can like write in the book and stuff. So when I'm driving, I'm like, right, exercise 1. I'm like, I can't do it.
Driving like...
Yeah, so that's the one thing I feel I missed. But, it's taking in information and developing the mind. I can't beat it. I rarely listen to, popular music anymore, just because it doesn't nourish me anymore.
Yeah, it has its place, definitely. But,
For sure.
Yeah. What would you personally say is your biggest achievement and why? We've spoke about a lot of them. So what would you say is your biggest achievement and why?
I'd probably say Ninja Warrior, just because it's the freshest one. And I guess really just putting myself way out of my comfort zone on a kind of national TV show, and just kind of showing people that despite the odds and how hard things look, you just kind of give it your best shot. And it really did a lot in just me kind of appearing on the show and completing 2 or 3 obstacles. Like the kind of effect it had and the way people messaged me and said what it did for them and how it inspired them, it was just monumental. And even just hearing, you know, the announcers and stuff, like the support they were giving me from the sidelines, like Rochelle and Chris and all of them, they're literally just going crazy, and it just kind of really made me proud of doing it. And
you enjoyed it. You had a good time on there.
I was nervous, so nervous. Oh my
really?
God. Mouth was dry, everything was like shaking.
I'm gonna watch it back now and be like, yeah, he's shaking.
Yeah, I know. Literally, they show you the cut versions, but I'm literally there just like
looking like Dave Chappelle off that film. yeah. Well, next time, at least you've got more of a preparation. For the next time, you know what to expect when you go back on it now.
Exactly. So I'd say that's my biggest one to date, and I'm sure there's others, but just for the sake of time.
I know we could probably go on for hours on this, but
I got to do some cardio at 3:15. So
yeah, you're just trying to get out of it, aren't you? Where can people find you on socials then?
Instagram is I am Tyler Saunders. Facebook, I actually can't remember what my Facebook handle is.
Instagram's the main platform, isn't it?
Yeah, mainly. And I have been putting a lot more time into Facebook, just because it's also, there's a demographic there who need help and needs to see content. But Insta's been the kind of main place of energy, and my website is tylersaunders.co.uk.
Okay, great. It has been amazing having you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you everyone for listening, and hopefully get this skydive booked.
Yeah, let's do it. You'll be hearing from me very soon.
See you later. Thank you.